Hello, and welcome to Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. And now here's your sagacious and insightful host, the Voice of Doom. Okay, thanks. Oh, forgot my trademark. Gotta be right back here. Forgot a little something. Can't do it without my hat. Okay, I'm back, and thank you, Mr. Announcer. You're getting better every time. Might keep you on for a few more episodes and see what happens. Okay, 2020 part 2. Let's keep on going because long story. A few things. Let's just talk about 2020. We won't get too, into the clampdown quite yet because I want to lay a little more groundwork. Now, wife is, being secretive and writing notes, and she's kind of bitching at me that I'm not working enough, and I'm working kind of like 5 days a week and making tips, and so I'm kind of like, well, I guess, I'm not very good. I don't manage money well, and maybe, we could use the extra income, but it's kind of pushing me really hard to get a merchandising, resource job. And she was doing plants and trees at different, outlets like Lowe's and Home Improvement and what have you. And she wanted me to do that for the summer, starting in March. And I really didn't want to do it because I hate plants. I've worked in a nursery before, and I hate it because I have hay fever. But I'm like, oh, okay, I'll apply and do what I have to do. I don't know why she wanted me to do it. Okay, what else is happening? Everybody's working, everybody's bringing in money, and the kids are kind of helping out. They're not really paying their share per se, but they're helping. And Benjamin's always helped us. He's given us a lot of money. We couldn't have made it without him. So I made the kids pay, some room and board, but not too much because we were all working. So we're working, and I'm at work, and I'm hating it. I'm a waiter, and it's kind of a dysfunctional casino and restaurant. Good people, really good people, but just it's it's bad enough to wait on customers and get complaints, but then when you have kind of a fiasco going on with the restaurant itself, it's harder. So I'm not liking the job, and I'm just thinking, it's just going to keep going on like this. There was no forewarning, so we're just an ordinary time, and so my wife is kind of slowly sleeping in the other room, and it's kind of like, well, we're drifting apart, and we probably should get divorced because, the kids are growing up, and we're really just kind of an economical unit, not really, husband and wife kind of thing. So she kind of talks about the transgenderism a bit, and kind of almost like a excuse, like we should just live separate lives and pay the bills together. And so I'm kind of like, well, all right. I mean, it gives me privacy, and I can watch whatever TV I want, and I got the whole room, and I got the bathroom. So if she wants to live in the other room, then or sleep there, then we'll just do that. We never were that compatible. I mean, we had our times, but good times, but so she's in the other room, and I'm hating my job. So here's where I want to say I'm not prescient, and I'm not an oracle. So when I say stuff that I thought prior to the clampdown, it's not anything. It's just what I thought. I have nothing to gain by saying lies. I'm not going to try to traumatize anything by, trying to make strangeness where it wasn't, because it was strange enough for real. And I'm just going to tell you the truth, and you can take it the way you want. So I'm working with my kids, my son. Really has nothing to do with anything because the son that told me this really wasn't there at the time at work, but he came up to me and he's like, you should really do something great. He could see that I was unhappy. He could see that I wasn't getting anything. I wanted to entertain or do something creative or produce something that wasn't just being a waiter. And he's like, why don't you do something great? And it kind of clicked because my mentors, when I was a Buddhist my early days, always said, when you plan to do something, try to be great, try to think big. Like, I don't want to be a teacher. I want to be the administrator or the, whatever, the person like in charge, the secretary of education, or whatever. Always think big, think way beyond what you think you're capable of doing. So I kind of heard my kids say that, and I'm like, yeah, got to get off my ass and do something great. Now, at the same time, I heard rumblings, probably January, late January. I watched the news, and not a whole lot of news, but I heard enough to know that something's going on because China is like talking about a pandemic, and I know we had the SARS and the other ones, H1N1 or wherever they came from, but China was always kind of in the forefront of these epidemics. So I'm hearing rumblings, and then I'm hearing more rumblings that are a little more distressing. So I'm at work and I'm like, go up to the manager, I'm like, are those Chinese people coming for their, banquet that they always come every month? They have a junket that comes to the casino, and they all come to the restaurant at once, and they all have prime rib. There's like 50 of them, 60. He goes, yeah, it's the end of February. And I go, well, I want that day off. And they're kind of like, well, and it's like, well, I heard about something with this epidemic, so I just don't want to work when they're going to come. It's nothing personal. And he said, or she said, just make your requisition, your schedule, and right before, and then we'll, you don't have to work. And I'm like, okay. Never had to worry about that because the Chinese guys never came. But I said that, and I remember saying it, I remember being a little bit trepidatious. And the second thing that's more strange, and I know you're not going to believe this, but sitting there in the kitchen, back of the restaurant where the line is and they're giving you food, and there's a dishwasher behind me that's half psychopath, and he's always ranting and raving and yelling, and you can't understand a word he's saying, and he's, every time you pass him, he starts rambling and ranting like a crazy golem. And I swear he's like somebody from all my past lifetimes that he's come to torment me every lifetime. So that's the situation. I'm depressed, and I'm like, God, I wish I could figure out a way to have a lot of free time, get rid of this job, just have mostly free time, and still make money. And I actually said that to myself, thinking, that's a pipe dream. That's not going to happen. What am I going to do, Do something online or do some work at home where money's just rolling in? It just doesn't happen. So, I've learned through life that most of the time I have to work for every damn cent I get. And when I try to get easy money, I usually lose. So, that's what I thought in February. Now, I think we are set for March 15th. Probably March 14th or maybe early in the day. I'm sitting outside. I think I have the radio on for some reason, and I'm like listening to the talk radio outside, smoking. And I just hear, like, kind of in the back of my mind, I'm hearing from the radio, and it's like, we're going to be shutting down, all the restaurants and casinos at midnight. I'm just like, I don't know if I heard that correctly. And, they kept saying, it came on over and over again, we're shutting down at midnight. And I'm like, yeah, right. And my son came home at 12:30, and I said, well, did they shut down? He goes, yeah, they emptied the casino at midnight and shut everything down and shut down all the machines, and what's going on? And I don't believe it. And what's this all about? And I can't, and I'm like, come on. I drive down there with him just to see with my own eyes that the casino was closed, because a closed casino is like Armageddon would have to be at hand, because casinos don't close. And we never would have closed if they were still run by the mob. It's like, you know, what can I do for you, Governor Sisolak? Well, I'm here to tell you you're going to have to close down all your casinos for a few months. And it's like, yeah, right, that's a good one. Why don't we put it this way? Either we um, close down all the casinos, or you are left in a bloody pile somewhere, because the mob wouldn't want to do that. So I'm like, I'm going to drive down to this casino because I don't believe it. Drive down. Um, Dark. Drive to the bigger casino. Dark. I go home and it's like, okay, they closed down. It's probably be a week, I don't know. I mean, I'm wondering why so sudden. And it's like they don't give us any warning. And it's like, why didn't they give us any warning? I have a very bad habit that's annoying, and it's obsessive and compulsive, and it's when I see something strange, and especially when it's really, really strange, I just can't take it. I got to figure out why. I got to figure out how and why and who and everything, because it's like, this is strange, and I'm going to, like I said before, get to the bottom of it, but I'm really going to try. I'll kind of be like a politician. So, okay, I didn't start getting to the bottom of it right away because I was still kind of like, I don't believe it. And the liquor stores, of course, were open, and the pot stores were still open, so pretty much my kid and I just sat outside and talked about what was going on and drank, and his drinking problem became pronounced after a year and a half, but, we were happy. We were drinking and talking and musing and philosophizing, and my older kid is not real, he doesn't converse too well, but even he was kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of confused. And so the next night, the next day, it's like, I don't have to go to work. That's kind of cool. The next night, I'm like, well, I still don't believe it. So we drive up to Tahoe, which is about a half-hour drive from Carson City, and nothing's open. And I'm like, this is not happening. I think we even went to Reno from there. I don't know if we did it the next night, but I said, well, Reno certainly. And I went to Reno and it was closed. And I'm kind of like, I can't accept this. I got to know why. So, I mean, we all know people had to rearrange everything. I mean, the first week, people probably thought it was only going to last a week. And it's probably, if I'm thinking, it was so sudden that they must have suddenly realized it's going to spread like wildfire, so let's go now, right now. And then I'm thinking, well, if they knew 2 weeks ago they were going to shut down, then why did they wait till the last minute to tell everybody? Is it because they didn't want runs on products? They didn't want panicking? I don't know, but I want to know, and I'm going to know, and I will know before I die, because everything was wrong. Everything was convoluted. Everything was actually a mass paraconformity. I mean that kind of came later, and I'll probably start on that segment next, because that was kind of the opening salvo of the Clampdown. We used to do a song called "Working for the Clampdown" by The Clash, and I really never thought that we would be working for the Clampdown, but I lived to see the day that we're working for the Clampdown. So we're clamped down, and we're drinking, and we're smoking pot, and we're kind of enjoying it, because once the unemployment and the stipend and the supplement came in, I had to wait for a month and a half. And I was getting a little antsy, because it's like, I am out of work, but I am working because I'm working with the tree thing that my wife got me into. So I'm doing that part-time, getting unemployment from my other job plus the 600. So I can't say I wasn't kind of enjoying it. I really would be dishonest to say that, yeah, I hate this, making all this money for doing nothing. And then it dawned on me that that was exactly what I asked for. I'm not going to make anything of that. but it's profound in my life because of what I'm going to tell you kind of near the end. But yeah, Clampdown, good times, money. When the money started rolling in, we were all getting money all over the place. And we really couldn't spend it that well because everything was kind of closed. So, I mean, it was enjoyable. It was good. But I still am saying this is wrong, this is strange, this is way too strange. So we're going to get into the strangeness and the the mass para conformity in the next segment because I'm just about where I want to be. And I know it was kind of a thing. I'm telling a story, sort of, and I can't always joke. But next segment, I'll have some interesting stuff. So thanks, and we'll see you later. Good night.